Tasmanian is at $6.60. Wolver Action 160, having his first start over jumps. Calibration $42, Direct Mail $4. This is for 50 cents. Fort Royal $2.40, his stablemate Spanish Minstrel is $3.80. Another stablemate, the Ben $5.10. Sands Court Scratch, Believe number 9 is at $19.30. Over the page to Desperate Sweep at $13. Enchanteur $4.80. Pleasure Bow $22. New Display $15. A late scratching Royal Gazer. First race, the hurdle coming up at 20 after 12, and the favourite at this stage is Wolver Action. Which is unbelievable on a day like today.
That was incredible.
It's just right here, right at the start. But as you asked me about Wolver Action, he's taking a bit of loading into the gate there, but he schooled on Monday and he went pretty quickly, and I see where he broke 36 for a mile in Adelaide recently.
His form's very good. Wolver Action's moved in a couple of attendants with him, and it's raining quite heavily. Perfect sunshine before this is quite amazing. Lights on and they're off. They've caught them fairly well. Missing the start was the Ben. One of the greys got out pretty well, Demon Diver, and getting away pretty quickly also Pleasure Bow, followed by Wolver Action, New Display hunting up with Enchanteur. Direct Mail getting back a little bit, Believe getting up on the inside, but they're pretty well bunched up. Spanish Minstrel went back to the tail. At the second obstacle, New Display in front. He's the horse from Tasmania, only 2 starts in Victoria over fences. He leads the way from Believe on the inside, and Demon Diver 3 away from the rail. Wolver Action caught out a bit deep, and they were followed by Pleasure Bow, about 2.5 to Calibration. Desperate Sweep out very wide, followed by the Ben getting up on the inside. A couple to Direct Mail, followed by Enchanteur. He won the VRC St Ledger 2 years ago. He's back 4th last in the hurdle race. Second last as they come down towards the next obstacle was Fort Royal, and 3 lengths away the stablemate Spanish Minstrel, one of 3 horses in the race trained by Eric Musgrove. New Display in front, comes to the 4th fence in the straight, a half length to Believe. They're 2.5 lengths to the top weight Demon Diver, 4 lengths to Wolver Action. It's the favourite, trained by Colin Hayes. 2.5 lengths away in 5th position was Calibration. Then Pleasure Bow the inside of Desperate Sweep, the Ben the fence. 2.25 lengths to Enchanteur, 1.5 Direct Mail, a half length away Fort Royal, and 3 lengths away Spanish Minstrel. 15 lengths covers first from last along the Maribyrnong side of the track, 1950 metres to go. And bowling along, New Display leads by 1.25 lengths, draws to the next one, got over it okay. Demon Diver edges closest second, Believe on the inside third. They're 3 lengths to Wolver Action, 4th, 2 lengths to Calibration, 1 off the fence. Pleasure Bow on its inside, then the Ben edging closer. Desperate Sweep 3 deep, 2.5 Direct Mail, Enchanteur as they draw to the next one. And back in the field, Spanish Minstrel and Fort Royal. At the 1600, New Display in front, he's jumping okay. He leads them by 1.25 lengths. Demon Diver second on the outside of Believe. A half length away, Wolver Action trying to get through in the centre. They were followed by Calibration wide, Pleasure Bow the inside, then came the Ben. Around the outside was Enchanteur, then Desperate Sweep, Direct Mail. Second last, Fort Royal, and 2 lengths away, Spanish Minstrel. 12 lengths between first from last, and the leader jumping okay. New Display about 3/4 of a length in front. Demon Diver second, about 2 lengths away, Wolver Action. A half length to the outside, then the Calibration. They were followed by the Ben, starting to make up a little bit of ground. Then came Desperate Sweep. Around the outside, Fort Royal, 2 lengths Direct Mail, Believe under pressure, and well back in the field. Then as they run up towards the 950 was Spanish Minstrel and Pleasure Bow. The leader is now Wolver Action, took over from New Display. Wolver Action just in front, coming at it, Enchanteur around the outside. Then Demon Diver under a little bit of pressure. New Display's dropped back quickly. Around the outside, Fort Royal, followed by the Ben, Pleasure Bow, and well back was Calibration, running up to the home turn. It's Wolver Action on the inside of Enchanteur, and they've raced away from the Ben. Then Fort Royal, followed by Demon Diver, Pleasure Bow. On the turn, 500 metres left to run. Enchanteur on the outside of Wolver Action. Enchanteur just in front. Wolver Action fights back. Enchanteur hard ridden as they come down to the second last one. Could make all the difference. Enchanteur's fallen. Enchanteur's down, and Wolver Action's left with a big gap. Enchanteur fell at the second last, and Wolver Action's about 6 in front of the stablemates, Fort Royal and the Ben. Wolver Action gets over it. He's 5 or 6 lengths clear. Trying hard, Fort Royal, then the Ben. A break to Pleasure Bow and Direct Mail, but Wolver Action's going to win easily. He's made his debut over the jumps today, started favourite, and Wolver Action wins it by 6. Second placing Fort Royal, 3 to the Ben. A break Direct Mail, Pleasure Bow, followed by Desperate Sweep. Next home in the race, Spanish Minstrel. They were followed in by Demon Diver, New Display knocked up, and finished last of all, was Calibration, and of course Enchanteur has come down, and one of them's been pulled up, and that's been believed just prior to turning for home.
Well, I can assure the Daryl Cannon's people, friends, family, that he's okay. He's walked to the ambulance. He had what we'll call a harmless fall. It looked like a heavy fall. I'm sure that he was going to make Wolver Action earn the full prize money, but it wasn't to be. He skidded on landing, and Enchanteur just lost Daryl, but he's okay for all those people at home who are related to Daryl and want to know his well-being. Believe was pulled up, why I don't know, and the winner was just too good. He was always going to be very hard to beat because of his flat ability. He's jumped the last. He jumped a few a bit stickily, but once he got to the front over at about the 900 metres, he jumped that one nicer, and he went on then. But he was just too brilliant on the day because he's just got the speed. But Enchanteur was going to make a bit of a race of it.
Yeah, and Wolver Action was travelling the better coming to the second last jump, Des. But you've got to get a jump over them to win them, and Colin Hayes has trained another hurdle winner, and he's talking to one of our men in the mounting yard.
Colin, it must have brought back old memories when that Wolver Action won so easily today.
Yes, Gay. Well, I started my training career with jumpers, and we were 8 years leading trainer in jumping trainer in South Australia before I more or less stayed with the flat. But I love jumpers, and we've won 5 nationals and 3 Great Easterns in my early days.
Wonderful record. Tell me, did you buy the horse as a stayer or as a jumper?
No, I didn't buy him. The owner bought him. We bought him as he came to me as a hopeful leisure runner and a horse that could win on the flat. But we've been schooling him as we have schooling facilities at home, and he's always shown an aptitude for it. And he hasn't been altogether honest on the flat.
He was very honest today. Thank you, Colin.
All right, thank you. Thanks, Gay.
Thanks, Colin Hayes.
With Gay Waterhouse, and Colin Hayes was referring to Lindsay Park in Anguston, beautiful Barossa Valley in South Australia, when he talks at home. Wolver Action $1.35 and 80 the interim dividends. Fort Royale 95 and the Barn $1.55. The second race is almost the consolation for the Derby horses. It's the Eurovox. Let's have a look at the totes on the second, and Big Grey Roo is still the favourite at 95. Isle 765, Shipwreck 290, Oakwood 290, Painted Ocean 520, and then $9 for Simonini, Valjean at 11.30, Sweet Baby James 27.95, Tricky Dancer 37.65, Weatherly at big odds with Fame the Spur, Magic Territory and Red Meadow. The favourite Big Grey Roo at 95 cents. Second race on the programme at Flemington, the Eurovox.
Yes, the Eurovox Stakes over 2,000 metres. It's a handicap race at $41,000 with first prize money of $26,000.
Race number 2. Now Magic Territory moves along to the starting stalls, and they're just about set for a start here. Race number 2, the lights on, and they're off and racing, and Big Grey Roo jumped with them today. Sweet Baby James got out okay, and so too did Oakwood. Then Painted Ocean, followed by Shipwreck, and Simonini going across from an outside barrier. He'll try and lead. Getting back in the field was Fame the Spur, followed by Weatherly, and Red Meadows dropped out to the tail end of the field. Simonini goes to the front as they race up towards the 1,600 metres point, and this horse trained by Colin Hayes has raced away. Gary Clark in the saddle, Simonini 2 lengths clear. Second Oakwood a half length to Big Grey Roo with a run of the race. Zipping around the outside now was Magic Territory, and Fame the Spur around them's gone up to join Simonini. Shipwreck goes up to be 4th. Oakwood's running 3rd, and Big Grey Roo got shuffled back, goes to 6th. Then came Weatherly, and they were followed by Painted Ocean. Valjean on the outside from Tricky Dancer. Isle was second last, and a length and a half away Red Meta. At the 1,200, Fame the Spur in front, one of the bolters. Leads by a length and a quarter. Shipwreck up a lot closer today, goes to second. Simonini 3rd. A length and a half away, Oakwood travelling well. Going around the mile out 3 deep, and then Valjean. Big Grey Roo got shuffled back to midfield. Magic Territory next. A length to Tricky Dancer, followed by Sweet Baby James and Painted Ocean, Weatherly, and last of all Red Meta. About 10 lengths covers first from last, and Fame the Spur 3/4 of a length to Shipwreck. Isle went up on the outside, back on the fence Simonini. Oakwood comes into it, and they were followed by Valjean. Big Grey Roo, the stablemate on its inside. It'll have to get going from there. It's 6 lengths off the leaders, and Clark starting to get stuck into him. Around the outside Tricky Dancer, and they were followed well back by Sweet Baby James. further back to Painted Ocean, and then came Weatherly. At the 500 metres point, Fame the Spurs a length and a half to Shipwreck. Here's Oakwood on the outside, then came Simonini. Big Ray Ruse under the whip and only struggling. Then Valjean Isle down the outside from Tricky Dancer. Oakwood's out after Fame the Spur at the 300. Fame the Spur a length and a half in front of Shipwreck, and Oakwood on the outside. Fame the Spur a length in front. Shipwreck pegging it back. Shipwreck is getting the Fame the Spur. Shipwreck's taken a narrow lead, and Shipwreck's going to get up and win. Shipwreck first, about a half neck. Second, Fame the Spur. Oakwood third, every chance. Painted Ocean ran on well, it had no luck. Then Belgium, Big Ray Rue, Simonini, followed by Isle, Tricky Dancer, Magic Territory, Red Meta, Sweet Baby James, and Weatherly's been the last horse to finish in the Eurovox Stakes.
Well, it was really a boil over, because Fame the Spur, ridden by Simon Marshall, nearly took that race away from the outside horse there, Shipwreck. Shipwreck still didn't want to go and win the race. He needed some coaxing by Shane Dye, but eventually he got the better of Fame the Spur right on the line. Oakwood was a distinct disappointment, because about 300 metres out, I think in running, I might be wrong, but it just certainly looked as though Oakwood would finish the race off and win the race, but he didn't finish it off, and it was left to Shipwreck, who'd been all over the place during the week. On Cup Day, I think it was, he did it better today, and it was a good win.
3, 11 and 4. It took him a while to get there. Simon Marshall took the initiative with Fame the Spur, and that was a fantastic ride for a horse at 150 to 1, Des.
Well, Simon Marshall was selected. I think Ray Lawson was looking for a rider who could use the whip in his left hand, but Simon's such a good rider that he thought, well, I'm not going to be that good with the left hand, and I'm going to go for the right hand. And here he is, and he rode Fame the Spur like a man possessed. Shane Dye having trouble because he gave it a couple of cuts on Shipwreck, had to stop, put it back down there, and more or less bluff it into winning. It did win. Oakwood weakening. Down the outside was Painted Ocean, who had little luck, and Valjean, it worked a little better for him today. He was out without blinkers today to run 5th.
Victorian TAB interim dividends. Shipwreck expected to pay $2.35 and 85. Fame the Spur $6.10. He actually come into the race with fair form, a 7th in the Derby trial behind Sir Midas, and Oakwood third, 75. A weak run by that horse. Big Ray Rue perhaps a little bit flat, and he may be spelled from this point onwards, Bruce, but I think Michael Clark was the victim of circumstances, because 59.5 kilos, a lot of weight when you get pushed back from second to about midfield.
Impossible to overcome, Dan, and Shipwreck winning. He ran third on Saturday in the Carbine Club Stakes, winning the Eurovox. Oakwood, who just wouldn't go on with it in the straight third, and Fame the Spur in second placing. So Shipwreck for Shane Dye, who won on Crush on Tuesday, and that's 2 winners for Shane Dye during the VRC Spring Carnival. Oak Stakes, the big one of the day coming up. Plenty of fashions to follow as well. And we'll take a break with all the dividends around Australia after this break on the second event.
And the Byamore Stakes is over the distance of 1,000 metres. A handicap of $41,000 with the first prize money of $26,000.
Might have to be acting on veterinary advice to give Mr. Lawler a phone call. I see them turned away from looking down at the start, and they may be just doing that, getting a bit of a check on the horse. There's nothing definite yet, though. But she's being trotted around, and it's not a good sign, but as yet everything's in order. She was very fractious, she was sweating up badly as we called out, was she going down the race, but it looks as though she's going back in now.
Yeah, they made sure, and Momentaire going to take her place in the lineup. Momentaire moves back into the gates, and they look to be just about set to go. So running slightly late, lights on, they're racing. Nina Bonita jumped out okay, Spangler showing speed. Momentaire got out only fairly, and Dittman's got to ride her hard to get some speed up. She's up running about midfield. One of the best to jump away was Sweet Ripper, and Saloon Rule going quickly, and look at Spangler towards the outside, and they're all going down the flat side of the track. Stiletto Way gets up on the inside and leads Spangler over the crossing. Scotch Air was third, then Smooth Bay followed by Nina Bonita. Momentaire would want to get a move on. She's 6 lengths off the lead and hard ridden as Spangler kicks away from Stiletto Way at the 400. Scotch Air under the whip, then Saloon Rule, Nina Bonita. Scotch Bay out wider, followed by Reganza. Momentaire gets into the clear, hard ridden. Then Royalty Lass followed by Lock Walker. broken. Well back in the field, another Evette, followed by Hermes Cap at Hot Set and wider out Rising Supreme. Saloon Rule's taken the lead, 200 to go, kicked away from Spanglet. Then Momentaire, followed by Stiletto Way, battling back. Saloon Rule's raced away though with 100 to go and she'll win easily. Spanglet second, running on hard Reganza, but Saloon Rule wins it by 3 lengths. Second placing goes to the fast finishing Reganza, just in front of Spanglet and Hot Set. Momentaire, never a chance. Then were followed in by Lockwalk and Stiletto Way, knocked up from Iceberg Baby. Further back in the field then to Smooth Bay. They were followed home by Hermes Cap at Nina Bonita. Well back Madam Minister, Rising Supreme. They were followed by Paratime, Scotchair knocked up badly, and Royalty Lass has been one of the last horses to finish in the Byron Moore Stakes.
Well, it was Saloon Rule, and not even seen at the trials. Very little known about the horse. Started at very lucrative odds if you're a tote punter, and has won the race with ridiculous ease, although it did race a little bit greenly. And a good win for Dale Short, whose wins in town are few and far between, but if you've got the cattle, Dale can do the job. There it is, going to the lead, passing Spanglet, who'd actually more or less piloted the field with Stiletto Way for a greater part of the journey. Momentaire, I think she was really upset all day. She got into the stalls and messed around, and Reganza ran on nicely to probably just get second posse from Spanglet over on the fence. But there they come down in the head-on position.
That's right, Des. 13-12 has got second after that tight photo finish for the minor placings and 2/3. Look at that great head-on shot. 19 horses running straight at you down the Flemington Straight 6, and the winner was Saloon Rule at huge odds on the Victorian Tote. 211 to 1, Bruce. Nice to have 50 cents each way on it.
Be beautiful, Dan. $106.15 for 50 cents in Victoria. I wonder what it'll pay all around Australia. We'll check that shortly after the break. $15.60 the place. Reganza $5.25. It'll be an enormous quinella, and Spanglet 95, and an unbelievable trifecta 13-12-2. If you've taken that anywhere in Australia, go and open a bottle of champagne, because you will be celebrating. Or have a cup of tea if you like me and you prefer a cuppa at this time of the day. There she is on the right of screen. Hadn't heard of her. Trained at Cranbourne in country Victoria. First time to the races. First home today with Spike Short on top. So Saloon Rule has done it in style. So Gay Waterhouse is in the mounting out at the moment. I think, Gay, you've got the winning trainer with you right now.
Yes, Kenny, well, it must have been a fabulous win.
It was, Gay, yeah, very impressive, yeah.
Could I ask you, were you expecting it?
We were expecting a good race, yeah.
Well, she certainly was very, very impressive, wasn't she?
She was, yeah, excellent.
Thank you, Kenny.
Thank you very much.
Gay, can you still hear me?
That's Ken, wasn't it?
No, Gay's gone, I think. I was just going to ask Gay about Momentaire in that race. She would have been disappointed with her performance. But Gay, Momentaire, she was upset at the barrier there, and we did notice that she really started to sweat before she went into the starting stalls. Were you disappointed with her performance?
Yes, we were, Bruce. We were very disappointed. We thought she'd do a lot more in the run, but she did have 57.5. The winner of the race only had 5 kilos less. She wasn't able to sprint the other day as she did against Show County. She'll go out for a spell now.
Okay then, Gay, thanks very much for that, and great to see Kenny Keys there, a battling trainer at Cranbourne with Saloon Rule. We'll take a break in just a moment, and of course coming up shortly, the dividends all around Australia, and that trifecta is going to be enormous. The fourth race is for 3-year-olds over 1400.